Okay, hi. This is Stormy. He's a good boy. He's here for board and train, and as you can see, he's got issues with being groomed. And this is a dog who's going to be experiencing grooming throughout his life, but he has a tendency to get a little fresh with the groomers. And I can tell once I put him on the table that he wasn't really comfortable with being up there. So we're basically just kind of going through the motions of what's going to happen when he goes to the grooming shop. So they said, for the most part, that he's not, I don't think that he's like, a biter. I do know that when I've handled his feet a couple times, he's been a little not appropriate, let's put it that way. So it's important, there we go. It's important to make sure that these dogs are comfortable, because he's going to spend a lot of time on a grooming table. And I'm just going through him with a short tooth rake. He's in good coat. His coat's in excellent condition. He's groomed fairly frequently. He's kept relatively close. He was groomed right before he came, so his hair is pretty short. And basically all we're doing is getting him used to being handled for grooming. He has, I'm looking for the right tools. There we go. He has, that's too tight for you. We'll just go back to this then. He has some preconceived notions about how to behave. So we just want to go fairly slowly. And like I said, his coat's not in horrible shape, but he has been allowed to quit. He has been allowed to get a little persnickety, and I'm not doing anything to hurt him. He needs to understand that this is something that needs to be permitted. Good boy. So I'm just, fairly frequently rewarding him for just sitting there calmly. I'm going to scoop him up, right? He is an intact male, so I need to be careful with handling the genitalia. But it's good that he has them, because pretty much anything male is controlled by how you handle the organs. And he's no different. So again, I'm just raking a brush through his coat, making sure that I can part the hair. I'm not, I don't groom dogs anymore. I just train them. And part of training must be that I can put my hands on you anywhere and not expect a big giant fight when I do things that you might take exception to. Because nobody, this dog's not being hurt. He just doesn't like it. And that's kind of unfortunate. Now, I do know that he's not great about having his feet handled. So when we start feet, we always start with the back feet. And the reason why is because I want to keep my important parts away from the pointy bits at the front of the dog. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to have to put myself in harm's way. And this is a way to feel around to see if he's basically sensitive to the whole process or just part of the process. Because handling feet on dogs is more than just wiping them or grooming them. It's cutting the nails as well. There, what a good boy. He says, I like it when people handle my junk. Because you're a dude. Right? So he's kind of particular about this leg, actually. which is interesting. I mean, it could be, you know, he had a bad experience. It could be that he's recovering from, you know, an injury or something like that. Most of the time, they just don't like it. Dogs rarely like things behind them to begin with. So, you know, not only are we teaching him that being brushed isn't, you know, a one-way trip to hell, but we're also getting him used to having things behind him. Good boy. What a good doggy. Right? And again, when I go to groom the inside of the hind leg, I'm protecting the genitalia so we don't actually injure something. That big giant floofy tail. Now these guys, kind of carding the coat on his rear end, sitting and stuff has a tendency to make it not matte, but it kind of is pressed against the skin because that's where they sit or that's how they lay. So we just want to make sure that we can get through that before we move on to other parts of the dog. Yeah, huh? Good boy. As you can see, I'm pulling the hair up and then combing it downwards. This guy's got super, you know, these doodles have super wavy coats. So if you're going to go through this with a comb, you're going to go through this with a really wide tooth comb so you're not pulling hair. And he's trying to back out. So I'm just going to move him forward a little bit. You don't get to fight the things you don't like. Now, his owner told me the last time they had him groomed, he had a big knot. You can see where they had to cut it out. So it's really important to feel to see if there's any knots. And he's just got super wavy hair. So we want to make sure that we card all the way down and go through it. This is something this dog should be experiencing at home with his owners at least once or twice a week, just to keep this hair from getting matted. At the same time, we're not just keeping the dog healthy by taking care of his coat. We're actually making sure that he stays healthy because my hands are everywhere on this dog. I'm looking for lumps and bumps. At the same time, you're fine. You're not going to die, I promise. Good boy. Yeah. At the same time, we're helping to assure that he stays healthy. And he's protesting because he doesn't like his tail being done. I don't know of too many dogs that do. But, you know, that's part of being a dog, right? It's part of being a doodle, is to have this profuse coat that requires constant care. And the point is to just go real slow. Right, as you can see, he's in a noose. It's not super tight. There's play in it. He's not, you know, going to fall over and die. He's not going to choke. If he continues to resist, he's going to experience discomfort, but that's his choice. He has the latitude to make that decision. Good boy. So he's pretty much problem-free here. We did the 2 feet, brush them up. Good boy. Now, he doesn't like this, right? I knows it, huh? So I'm not going to rip a comb through this dog because he doesn't like being groomed. If you notice, I'm letting him sniff everything, right? This is a broad tooth comb. And I'm keeping it upright, perpendicular to the skin, and just driving it through the hair. When I feel it catching, I'm rolling it back to make sure I'm not pulling anything, right? So there's nothing that's happening to this dog that's painful. He just doesn't like it. When you put your pointy tools down, you put them teeth down, so that way nobody steps on them. And with my comb, I'm just taking little bits at a time and working down to the skin, just like so. That way, if there's any debris, we can catch it. Good. And you can see it's passing fairly easily through the hair, which is what we're after. No mats. That's the only goal. It's not my job to make him pretty. It's my job to keep him clean and mat-free and train him that nothing I'm doing is going to hurt him. I'm not taking this tool through this hair. That's asking, as she turns around and does it anyways, as that's asking for, conflict because it hurts. This tool is not designed for that hair. I know, huh? I know. Good boy. What do you think? Right? So, hi. I'm holding his head. Actually, I'm going to use this other tool. I'm holding his head simply because I don't want him coming down on me when I go to brush through him. Good boy. Because I want to assure him, good job. No, you got to stay out of my space, bud. Right? Good boy. And again, we're more going through the motions of this because I do know that he protests being groomed. Right? Now, if you notice, as soon as I put my hand on his foot, he started getting a little fidgety, right? Why he's in the noose. This is why we're in the noose, right here. Ah! Because he doesn't like it. This is why we're here. Now, if you notice, I'm moving away from the pointy bits. Don't do that, right? And all I'm doing is holding his foot. Now, you notice he didn't give me any protest about the hind feet. He was a little fidgety, but not bad. So all I'm doing is helping him understand that he's not going to die. And that right there goes to show me that we need to make the noose a little higher because he wants to try and escape, right? The bottom line is, sit still, be still. Now that we have him in defense, we need to kind of finish what we start. Good lad. Good boy. So, again, he's willing to compromise himself because he doesn't like being physically handled. I haven't done anything to this dog to hurt him. All I'm doing is preventing him from escape. Good lad. You're fine. I haven't touched him. All I'm doing is holding his foot. Because the process has to be, you don't get to protest. Good lad. Good boy. Right? And again, I'm not rewarding the struggle. I'm rewarding those brief moments where there is no struggle. He wants to bite. I can't imagine. Oh, there we go. I knows it, huh? And again, because now, good. Coming into the side, this is all stuff we've done. Good. He doesn't get to bite. He doesn't get to protest. All I'm doing is holding his foot. I haven't even started grooming. And this is something that can be done by ownership so that when he goes to the groomer, this is not a problem. And all I'm doing is waiting for him to relax and figure out that this is not acceptable behavior. Whether or not we go forward is going to be determined largely by his behavior. So all I'm going to do is take the back side of the brush and simply touch him. I'm not making any demands. I'm not cutting toenails. And then, after he accepts that, see, that's all it is, bud. Good lad. Good dog, right? I may attempt a couple of back brushes, right? Good boy. But I'm not going to put a lot of stress on the dog, and I'm not going to beat him up for protesting. I'm just going to wait until he stops. Okay? Good lad. Because again, this is a dog who's going to be experiencing this throughout his life. Unless he just becomes a shave down, right? Which we don't really want that to happen. Because he's so very cute. Same thing. Back side of the brush, introduction, good. All right, so when I'm holding it from underneath, right, I'm actually pulling hairs just above his pastern. I'm not doing anything to hurt the dog. I'm simply going through the motions. When he relaxes, I'm going to do a couple swipes. And we go back to what we were doing. Because the lesson isn't, I'm going to groom you. The lesson is, you must tolerate the grooming. You're fine. Good boy. See that? You didn't die. You didn't die. Now, I don't know how he is about having his face done. We're going to find out in another session. Good lad. But I don't stop until he basically accommodates my request to hold his foot. If you notice, I'm maintaining safe distances because every dog will bite, even dogs that have never bitten. Right? And you can tell this is a behavior that he's escaped in the past. Good. Good boy. Very nice. And again, I do things slow and I do things very deliberately so that I don't get hurt and the dog doesn't get hurt. Good boy. Very nice. And again, I'm not really brushing. I'm just touching him with the back side of the brush. Good dog. Because he doesn't seem to be horrible about having his hind legs done. Good boy. Now I'm going to turn it over. Right? And again, I'm not pulling. As soon as I feel resistance in that hair, I'm lifting the tines away from his coat. And I'm rolling it. So that when I do the front part of the foot, yeah, good lad. See that? You're not dying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what a good dog. Very nice. What is that? Is Timmy in the well? I suspect that his issues with having his feet handled are from having his nails done. A lot of dogs get chopped up pretty bad. Good boy, look at that. You did that very, very well. And we can condition that, right? But today is not that day. Now, he wants to pull his foot away, right? You notice that he tried to snatch his foot out of my hand. Well, he succeeded, actually. But he's not allowed to do that. He doesn't get to dictate the terms. I'm the one that puts the foot down. And the reason why is because it is about control. He wants body autonomy, which is fine. But, you know, you're a dog. Your nails need done. You're a carpet pet, so this isn't being done naturally. And you have to be groomed frequently. So this is something that we want the dog to experience without drama. Good boy, right? So, and again, when we're starting something new on a dog that we know doesn't like a certain procedure, we're always making sure that we place ourselves safely so that the dog never experiences, or, the handler never experiences trauma from the dog losing its mind. Good boy. Yeah, your ears look good. Good pup. And again, I'm trying really, really hard to not yank hair. You notice his hair is pretty tight. So we're just grooming parts of the dog. What was that? What was that? What a good boy. We're simply grooming parts of the dog. I'm going to move on this side. Right? And I'm far enough away, I have him toggled between the rock and the hard place, which is me. If I have to, I can simply just remove my hands and move off the dog. It doesn't require anything other than patience and the ability to read the dog with your hands so that you know when he decides that he might want to take a pot shot. Right? This dog is not a violent dog. He's not a dangerous dog, but he has particulars, and he's not really very enamored of being groomed according to his owner. Good lad. See that? You're a very good dog. You're a very good boy. Yeah. I know. Huh? Good dog. I'm not going to mess with the face too much, because I've already done enough traumatic things to him today. And we like each other. I want to keep it that way. Good boy. What do you think? You done? Let me see. I knows it. Guy boogies. He's not bad about having his face handled, but the thing is, though, is you kind of got to know when to stop. So for him, I think that would be right now. All right. That's your dog training minute. See you on the internet.